Hi, my name is Rachel Maddox McGrath. I am a singer-songwriter creating my custom costumes. And apparently it's not enough just to be an artist. People want to know who you are. So I created this podcast to connect with more people and share about who I am, the experiences as I go through my career, and just what I've learned in general. So welcome and let's get started. First of all, I just want to say that I am very reluctant to listen to podcasts because I find that I want to learn. I'm really hungry for learning and I don't really pay attention to lots of rambling. So when I was thinking about this podcast, I was thinking about what would be a podcast that I would listen to. And that is kind of directing my steps and how I go through this process. A little bit more about me. My formal education is in respiratory care. I got my bachelor's in respiratory care and worked in that field for several years. And it was more about practicality than about passion. And just this past year, 2026, I finally gave myself permission. Who else is holding me back? Just myself. I gave myself permission to pursue a career in music full time. I don't have a formal education. Traditionally in the past, if you want to change fields, you go to grad school. Well, music's a little bit different, right? You typically, the programs, at least the ones that I investigated, you're going to have been playing music and instrument for years. I played saxophone for 4 years when I was a kid, but it'd been a minute. So I piecemealed my education together. I started piano lessons consistently about 3 years ago, and I started vocal lessons and just kind of stumbled my way through. Last year, I thought, I think I have something to say with my music. I did a play and it was a really interesting experience memorizing someone else's words. And I thought, I think I have something of value, of substance to offer. So I started working on music, and then this spring I finished it, set it aside because I was sick of it. And now, now I am in the process of learning my own songs. So being that I started playing piano at an older age, my playing ability doesn't quite match with the complexity of the melodies in my head. And I thought, well, I need to hire someone, but then that requires that requires money, right? So I don't have anyone to I don't currently have such a consistent stream to be able to pay someone. So just this week, in fact, I thought, well, why don't I just go ahead and make the songs, turn them into chords and play them for simplicity's sake. And then when I get to where I can play at that advanced level, I can play the songs as they're meant to be heard. But basically, there's no rules. And I think that's kind of like the biggest thing for me is realizing that there's really no rules in life. And entre comillas, that you can piece together your education or do what you want your way. You don't have to just follow a certain step, especially it seems like with what they're offering you in school for the money. Is it really worth it? I think it really kind of depends on the field. But anyway, I digress. So just being honest, I am a little uptight, a lot uptight, a little uptight, a little uptight, a little uptight. And I'm really trying to work on that. I'm really trying to relax and get more comfortable. But it's going to take me some time, okay? It's going to take me some time. So I am an open book, but I'm a very private, kind of shy person. And people kind of laugh at that and think that's really strange or it doesn't really match. But I work to overcome that and I can push through it. But yeah, it's just going to take me some time to kind of relax. But anyway, so I thought, just what am I going to talk about? What am I going to talk about this, for this kind of introductory podcast? Oh, and I thought I'd talk about something I've kind of been obsessed about for a little bit now. but I haven't done it on the podcast. So I thought I'd do it here, and it's just be an opportunity too to kind of be reflective of the week. I think that's what I want to do with this podcast, right? Because life is really busy and you can kind of get swept away in it in life and not really do a lot of reflection. And so I thought I'd just take this opportunity just to kind of reflect on life and what I've learned. And maybe it'll resonate with you. And if not, then don't pay attention. But if it resonates, then hey, let's talk about it. I'd love to hear, your thoughts if you have anything to say too. The first thing I learned, or the first thing I want to talk about that I've learned actually this past month, and I am trying to put a close to this experience. I think I can do it now after obsessing for about a month. Is that you should listen to your higher self. I am going to share an experience that I had this past month that almost in a way feels like a dream, but I'm going to share it. And yeah, so so I have kind of had like a long history of kind of physical ailments due to an injury when I was a child. And there's not been a lot of medical guidance for me. So I've kind of hopped my way along through life and try to figure out after injury, and what is the root cause, right? What is the root cause of this? And so I finally decided, instead of just going to a physical therapist and have them give me an exercise that doesn't take into account my whole body, I'm going to go to a physical trainer, but hopefully someone with maybe more experience, maybe experience with rehab or something, so that I can get like a full body strengthening, right? Just be resilient to injury. And so went I went to this private gym, and they recommended one of their trainers, and I mean, I don't know these people, but the owner was like, "Oh my gosh, this person's great. Da da da, they're a mom and da 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 and whatever. They work early." I'm like, "Great. I love exercising early. I love being done." And I will never forget when I went there, and because it was different than the main place. It was like a small place. I'll never forget going in and opening the door, and I felt like the air got like sucked out of the room. I felt like the air got sucked out of the room, and I was like, what is this place? And it was like very silent, and there were people working out. And I saw the trainer, and she seemed surprised, because most people seem surprised when they see me and they hear the name Rachel. They're thinking it's somebody else, it's not me. And I've kind of blocked out the rest of that experience, which is kind of strange for me, because usually I can remember events and details very vividly and clearly, and I can go back step by step, shot by shot, and remember the experience and play it back and be too much in my head. But I feel like I have kind of like cut that out of my head for some reason. But I just remember my first impression of this person was like, oh, they do not like you. And they're like, what the hell are you doing here? And why are you wasting my time? Like, I can't help. Like, why are you here? And for some reason, I thought it would be good to go back. um, I did kind of like a follow-up question with this person, and I said like, hey, this is my goal. And yeah, just some clarifying questions. I don't know why I went back to this person. But I think here's what it was. I think there was my higher self, and I think there was like my inner child. And I think my inner child for some reason was just like drawn to this person. And so I'm just trying to think like why I just totally ignored myself. And I remember going to pay for this and thinking, the thought like came into my head, this is a bad idea. This is a bad idea. And I was just like, well, I already said that I was going to pay. So like, how am I going to get out of it? I'm just going to just go ahead and do it. And I just remember like going in, working out. And first of all, so part of the issue with me is that I've kind of numb for most of my life. And so I'm kind of here, but I can tune stuff out. I can tune out most people. But for some reason, this person, I could not tune them out. First of all, there was no music. So there's nothing in there to distract you. You go to gyms, you go somewhere that there's music. There was nothing there to distract you. And I just could not I could not zone out in this space with this person. First of all, they were asking questions that for me felt kind of like intrusive. And half of the questions, I can't even remember anymore why it just felt like it was very jolting. I think one of the ones that really kind of got me was this like, okay, well, you don't have to tell me now, but like, what is the biggest stressor in your life? Which, maybe sounds like pretty, like pretty innocent, and maybe it was, but that can go pretty deep. You know what I mean? Like, what's the biggest stressor in your life? I just met you. I just met you. I can't be telling you like all of my stuff. Like, we don't even know each other. I mean, it's one thing to be like, oh, do you feel like you have a lot of stress in your life right now? Okay. All right. Well, can you work on that? Right? Okay. Which she did say too. She did say that too. But like being like, tell me like, what's the biggest stressor? It's like, I'm, like I said, I'm open, but I'm private too. And so, I just felt like this person was, so toward the end, it wasn't like that, but I feel like this person was a little kind of like flirty. Oh, who was I talking to? Okay, I was talking to this girl I met, and she's like, you've been out of the game too long. She's like, because trainers are thoughts, okay? And hopefully you know what a thought is. Right. She's like, trainers are thoughts. She's like, anytime someone tells me they're a trainer, I'm like, get away from me. Right? So she's like, you've been out of the game so long. You've been married. I've been married for like 22 years. She's like, you've been out of the game so long. You just don't know. But, those trainers are hoes. And okay. All right. Okay. So, yeah. So, some people are just flirty. And that's okay. That doesn't mean they really like you. I mean, I can be kind of flirty myself too. So it doesn't mean that they like you. They're just, having fun. But the two biggest kind of like red flags for me, right? Because I'm just like, I think with the questions, I was just like, okay, first of all, like we just met each other. So why are you asking all these questions? And the response was, well, the clients had to open up. I don't care about them. I don't want to be around them. Okay, but I'm paying you. It's not about you, it's about me, right? I mean, it's supposed to be. And then I think one of the other things that kind of was strange to me was like at the beginning, and I think I'd only like seen her like a couple of times or something. And she's like, do you trust me? And no, we just met. We just met. We just met. So, But at the same time, here's the thing. I'm not going to lie. I was like super duper 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 attracted to this person, like super attracted to this person. Um, but I also have anxiety too. Like I would try to go to sleep. I wake up multiple times in the night, just like anxious about going to train. And I was trying to figure out like, what is wrong with me? Since, again, I said before that I spent most of my time numbing. It's like, what's wrong with me? Why am I feeling this way? Why am I so attracted to this energy? What's going on? And I realized that part of it was, I had to feel. There was no music. This person's energy was so strong that I could not be unconscious. Most of us, whether you realize it or not, we're going around in a level of unconsciousness. We're not really tuned into our true selves. And I know for myself, especially, that because of just how I grew up, it's just kind of like a default switch. And when I was there with this person, I could not do that. Their energy was just so strong that I'd have to, like, I couldn't be thinking about the future. I couldn't be thinking about the past. I'd have to be there in the moment. And I was just like, I'd be like, okay, what time is it? What time is it? What time is it? What time is it? Cause it just was like, time was just like it. I was just there feeling so many different emotions. And it was really uncomfortable for me. So yeah, all this to say that I should have listened to myself, because I spent the month that I was working with this person in absolute tumult. But the energy was so strong, I'll be honest with you. It seemed like energy on like a higher level. Like a level I just cannot describe. But I would just feel that. I would feel terror. I would feel, ooh, it was too much for me. So the lesson really is like, just listen to yourself. You know, you know what you can handle. You know what you can't. And I didn't listen to myself, and then I struggled a lot. And then I was gonna keep working with this person because it seemed like they kind of calmed down and they were just kind of held me through the work. And I was getting ready to commit. And then I had just like this crazy, like anxiety, like seizure of anxiety. And I just was like, hey, don't want to be rude. I don't want to be disrespectful, but I am just like crazy attracted to your energy. And, I don't know what it is. Like, do you do witchcraft? Like, I mean, I was spiraling, but I wasn't trying to be mean. I was just kind of like trying to make sense of what was happening or whatever. I was like, I've been looking forward to the sessions. But I also know that like I attract sometimes people who are into kind of like this deeper spiritual world than I am. And yeah, I don't know if that's your case or whatever, but I started this to get relaxed and feel better, and I actually feel worse. But again, that wasn't me being I wasn't trying to attack or anything like that. I was just saying, just matter of fact, that the experience had not been so great for me. It actually had caused more stress in my life. And now this is true. Something was telling me stay away from this person. Now it could just be because of me, just because of how, I don't know, I'm just like allergic to their energy or, whatever. And so it wasn't an indictment on them, although I still attest that there's something that's not right there. But it wasn't like I was just saying, hey, it could mostly just be me or whatever. And I just don't think my body was going to let me keep working with this person because my sleep was disrupted and I just could not be at calm, at peace. And this person who was like, hey, I'm willing to be as vulnerable as I need to be with my clients to help them, whatever. This person straight up ghosted me. Straight up ghosted me. And I already knew, like, I already had it in my mind. I was like, this person does not really care about me. They're just like using me as a toy. That I'm just for their entertainment. They don't really care about me. They're just having fun. And then, like, when they're bored of me or whatever, they just like discard me. I mean, I knew that already. But that just kind of like sealed it for me. I'm just like, okay, so you're asking all these questions, forcing this, like closeness or whatever, which I, for the sake of just like, hey, I'm feeling better, I just like spill my guts, totally spill my guts. And so it's like, okay, so I just opened up to you. And then I thought, well, in a moment of like my panic, you could hold space for it. But it's like, nope, 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 nope. So the lesson is, just listen to yourself. That was my lesson. That was my lesson. And yeah, now it's over and I'm still kind of like, what is that? What was that? I don't think I'll ever know. It was strange. But the good news is that I started reading it forced me to do an internal cleansing and external cleansing in my studio space and just to keep going in those areas of my life where I need to improve. So even though it was a really awkward, uncomfortable situation, I came into more of my consciousness by reading The Power of Now, because I was just like, I am freaking out over here. I need something to kind of center me and calm me. And that was the book I went to. And I'm still reading it. I highly recommend that. But you have to be kind of in the right space, mentally and emotionally. But so it was not all bad, right? I would have been numb. I would have been unconscious for a long time had I not had this really jarring, shocking experience. I think for this next week, my goal, every week I try to make a new outfit. So this is one I made. I'll put a picture up of the dress. But every week I try to make a new outfit. But sometimes because of the intricacy, for instance, this dress, I took fabric and I cut strips, like hundreds of strips, and appliqued them on. So this dress took me about 2 weeks, but it wasn't fully 2 weeks. I have other stuff going on, but with other projects I was doing, it took me about 2 weeks. So I think my goal for this next week is to make another outfit, make another costume. And then I have an original song that people really love. And I'm thinking about getting my piano out and playing somewhere this week, just performing this week. And I have a lot of other stuff going on, but I just don't want to keep droning on and on. So I'll just leave it for there. And next week, I guess I'll share some more. Have a great week.